Many women hit a wall in their late 30s or early 40s. The daily cardio sessions or high-intensity classes that kept their weight stable for years suddenly stop working. Instead of seeing results, they experience chronic exhaustion, heavier joints, and a stubborn accumulation of weight around the middle. The underlying cause is the natural, gradual decline in estrogen. Estrogen is a metabolic hormone. It regulates how cells handle insulin and carbohydrates, while also sending the necessary signals to build and repair muscle. As its levels drop, cells lose sensitivity to insulin, and the body develops a resistance to the muscle-building signals of exercise. Estrogen also acts as a natural buffer against cortisol, the primary stress hormone. When women try to push through these changes with frequent high-intensity workouts, they trigger massive cortisol spikes. Without adequate estrogen to clear it, this unbuffered stress hormone stays elevated, directing the body to store energy as abdominal fat rather than burning it. This plateau is a predictable biological response. The body is operating under a new set of rules, and applying an outdated fitness philosophy only accelerates the physical stress. The solution requires a specific, low-cortisol approach. In the Complete Military Calisthenics Workout for Women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, Sergeant Major Alex Smith maps out a progressive system using only body weight to rebuild functional independence without overloading the nervous system. The manual moves directly from explaining these biological conditions into a structured 12-week training protocol. Real military fitness relies on structure, progression, and function. It trains the body to climb, carry, and endure under real-world demands, entirely distinct from the punitive bootcamp myths often portrayed in media. The program treats discipline as a practiced skill rather than an innate character trait. By removing the need to feel motivated on any given day, it establishes a reliable, repeatable habit of showing up. This method yields results because it respects the current physiological state of the trainee, prioritizing recovery and precise movement over sheer exhaustion. The training starts by meeting the user at their exact capacity. Upper body pushing and pulling sequences scale down to wall-assisted variations, allowing absolute beginners to safely map the movement before progressing to the floor. Lower body mechanics are trained through squats, lunges, and hinges. Because the legs carry the largest muscle groups, maintaining their functional strength provides the primary metabolic engine to offset midlife muscle loss. Traditional crunches are entirely excluded. Repeatedly loading the spine and flexion places dangerous stress on aging intervertebral discs and works against long-term bone health. Instead, the core is trained for its actual anatomical purpose, stabilizing the spine and resisting unwanted movement during physical exertion. This stabilization requires a fully integrated internal system. The pelvic floor forms the base of a pressurized canister, working alongside the diaphragm to manage abdominal load during a heavy lift or a deep squat. To protect this base, the program enforces a strict exhale on exertion breathing pattern. Exhaling during the hardest part of a movement naturally engages the pelvic floor, preventing the downward bearing of pressure that leads to leaking or injury. Mastering this internal coordination builds a safe foundation. Once the pressure system is secure, training volume can safely increase without risking structural failure. The timeline begins with the foundation mission in weeks 1 through 4. These 15 to 30-minute full-body sessions establish correct form and set a baseline for physical capacity. Weeks 5 through 8 transition into the build mission. Training volume increases, and low-intensity conditioning circuits are added to challenge muscular stamina and improve posture. The final phase, the strength mission, demands higher output. By introducing isometric holds and unilateral exercises, the routine forces the muscles to adapt to significant loads using only body weight. All of this physical stress requires a deliberate recovery strategy. Muscle repair relies heavily on the growth hormone released during deep sleep, a process easily interrupted by the elevated cortisol of overtraining. Proper fueling dictates adaptation. When carbohydrates are consumed close to the training window, the body uses them immediately to replenish muscle glycogen, rather than storing them as visceral fat. The physical transformation happens in the hours following the workout, when precise nutrition and sleep allow the body to rebuild. This chart visualizes the biological threat of sarcopenia. Without consistent resistance training, women lose roughly 1% of muscle mass every year after 40. But structured calisthenics interrupts this decline. Within months, strength capacity increases by 25%, creating a sharp upward trajectory. This new muscle tissue acts as a metabolic sink. It clears glucose from the bloodstream, directly counteracting the insulin resistance brought on by shifting hormones. Beyond metabolism, preserving muscle mass dictates how securely a person moves through the world. It preserves joint shock absorption, balance, and the reactive strength required to prevent falls. Progressive resistance training is a strict biological requirement for securing an active, independent future. This program prioritizes building a body capable of handling physical stress and real-world demands. It requires a shift away from the restrictive habits that often fail in midlife, focusing instead on the stimulus required to maintain muscle and bone health. Completing individual, manageable sessions generates a compound effect. Decades of neglected movement are replaced by accumulated, visible structural change. The practical result is physical autonomy, the ability to carry weight, climb stairs, and navigate daily friction without hesitation or pain. The 12 weeks are simply the entry point. The true objective is adopting a permanent identity as someone who trains, ensuring the practice continues long after the program concludes. By following the blueprint in Sergeant Major Alex Smith's manual, you can rebuild your physical capacity and establish a foundation that supports you for the rest of your life.